Okay, good morning, Year 7. So Miss Bullen has done an excellent job and she's found a way that we can all show our screens to you. So it's like you're going to be in a lesson. So this is exactly the kind of thing that you would see in a lesson in B30. So this is absolutely fantastic, and I'm going to try and work through the examples actually on the screen so you can work through them with me. So this is going to be fantastic. So good morning. The first thing that I'd like you to do is to pause this video and write down your date and your title and draw yourself a margin, please, as usual. And then I'd like you to underline your date and your title. Now, your learning objective was the same as the other day, so you don't need to write it again, okay? So pause your video now and write those things in. Okay, you should have done that by now, and we're ready to get on to the next slide. So I did want to talk about this isosceles triangle a little bit more. You should have copied this into your notes or in your book, depending on what you've got, on Wednesday. Now, this isosceles triangle, they are so important to really understand. As the description says, the two sides that have a little dash are equal in length. So if one side is 10, the other side has to be 10. And obviously the one down the bottom is going to be the odd one out and be completely different. And then you've got those two angles marked X at the base of the triangle. And those two angles are also going to be equal to each other. So the one at the top this time is the odd one out. So that's something to always think about. The odd one outs are always opposite to each other. So the odd angle is opposite to the odd length, if that makes sense in this triangle. So it's really important that you understand the properties of this triangle. So if one of those angles at the bottom was 40, the other angle would have to be 40. And then the odd one out at the top, we know, would be 100 if you've done some quick maths there. So just talking about that triangle there, now we're going to go on to the first example of today's lesson. I think it's the only example actually because it's quite a difficult one. So I'm doing one example here. So example number 1, I'm going to give you a chance now to pause this video and copy this example into your notes. So pause the video now. So you should have copied this completely into your books. Looks beautiful, looks perfect. Okay, the drawing and everything. So we're going to start working through it. Now you'll see that on this example you've got two missing angles there. You've got angle A that's missing and you've also got angle B. But the odd thing about angle B is that it's outside. It's outside the triangle. So that angle B is nothing to do with the 180 degrees in a triangle. Nothing to do with it at all. So firstly, we're going to concentrate on angle A, and then we're going to look at angle B, okay? So we're going to focus on angle A first. Now, if we ignore angle B, we just have a triangle really, don't we? So we know that angles in a triangle add up to 180 degrees. Therefore, to find A, we can just do 180 minus 75 minus 40. We just need to do that sum to find the angles in the triangle, in angle A in the triangle. So 180 minus 75 is 105. 105 minus 40 is 65. So equals 65 degrees. Excuse that degree sign. I'm going to redo that because that's not very good, is it? There we go. And then angle A, therefore, is 65 degrees. So we found angle A. It says give a reason for your answer. Well, your reason for that would be that angles in a triangle add up to 180 degrees. So that's what you would write. Now for angle B, that's a little bit different. I want you to ignore this angle and this angle. I want you to ignore them and I just want you to focus on this bit here. Now we know A is 65. Now I want you to think very carefully about what these two angles are lying on. Some of you, I hope, have got it. So angle A and B, they're both lying on a straight line. Now you should remember what angles on a straight line add up to. You should remember. That's from your lesson Oh, when is that from? That's from a lesson last week, I think, actually. So well done if you've remembered that. So angles A and B are lying on a straight line. Angles on a straight line add up to 180 degrees. So those two angles have to add up to 180 degrees. So one is 65 and the other one has to add up to 180. So the way that we can find that out is by doing 180 minus 65, which is going to be 115 degrees. So angle B is 115 degrees. And so we've got angle A is 65, angle B is 115. Now it says give reason for your answers, don't forget that. So angle B would be that angles on a straight line add up to 180 degrees. That's your reason. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a chance now to write down that working out next to your example or underneath it. So pause the video now to catch up, please. Okay, excellent. All right. So last couple of things to talk about. You've got one question here with 3 triangles on it. Now, if you can't see what the angles are, I'm going to write them in large. So this one here is 50 degrees. This one here is 95. This one here is 72, 46 down here, and 48 here. You should know what this little square means. Everyone should know what that little square means. So the first 3 questions, so 1A, B, and C, are exactly like the example we've just done. Exactly the same. Now question 2 looks similar, but is actually quite different. So I'm actually going to do the first one for you so that we don't have any issues, okay? Now, 2A, we're going to do first of all. You've got an angle of 78 degrees at the top there, and then you've got 123 degrees outside the triangle. So I want you to think about how we can find A if we don't have that angle on the inside here. If we don't have this angle, how are we going to find A? Well, we need to find that angle before we do find A. Now, you'll notice, I'm going to highlight it. I'm hoping you'll notice those 2 angles are on a straight line. So we can find this angle out here by doing 180 minus 123. I'm sorry about the writing. I am doing this with my finger because I don't have one of those fancy whizzy pens. So bear with me. So 180 minus 123. So that would give you, I believe, 53 degrees. 53? No, 57. Goodness me, 57 degrees. So if we know that this one is 57 degrees, we know that we can find A by using the fact that the angles now add up to 180 degrees. So you would ignore that 123 degrees on the outside and you would just use 180 minus 78 minus 57 to get you angle A, okay? Right, so I think you've got 7 questions there to do in total. So question 1 has 3, question 2 has 4. So what I'd like you to do is draw each one, because then you can just label your angles where they're going, okay, on each diagram. So please do draw each diagram there. You've only got 7 to do. Shouldn't take you that long. Okay, and then once you've done that, obviously follow these instructions here, please. So if you could submit a photo of your work via the Google Classroom, or again, a few of you don't know how to do that, so sending me an email with an attached photo or document is absolutely fine, okay? I'm going to post answers later for questions 1 and 2. Now, I hope this has been useful to actually work through something on the screen with me. Please let me know if this was helpful. Please let me know, because then I'll just do it for every single lesson and it's going to be fantastic. Okay? So, I hope you have a lovely day. Again, email me with any questions. I hope you can access this video. Shouldn't be any problems with it, to be honest. I think everything will be fine. And I shall speak to some of you in the day, I'm sure. Okay.